We're back with Colby, our local Barrie and Orillia experts, and really just everything Simcoe County. The market's definitely still booming, it sounds like, last we were chatting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Things are still going crazy. You can see, again, a year ago, things were going less than what they were listed for when the pandemic first hit. And as inventory dwindled, you can see in December where we had the lowest inventory, and January, things are going way over what the list price was.
What is up, YouTube? Matt McKeever here, and we're going to be talking about Barrie and Orillia real estate markets again with our sponsor, Colby. So I'm really excited to dive back into this market as well. Colby's going to give us an update on some of the projects he started with you guys, the YouTube subscribers, when it comes to garden suites in Barrie. I think it's really cool how fast some of you guys have reached out. And just a reminder, if you guys do want to do a project this year, Colby is filling up pretty fast, but there is always next year as well. So let us know in the comment section, what are your thoughts about garden suites? Are you paying more attention to them now, whether you're in Barrie or other markets in Ontario? And let's jump into today's video. What is up, guys? Matt McKeever here, and we're back with Colby, our local Barrie and Orillia experts, and really just everything Simcoe County. How's it going, Colby?
I'm doing great, Matt. We got spring around the corner. We got some gorgeous weather here in Barrie. It was plus 20 the other day, so I'm looking excited to the spring market.
And the market's definitely still booming, it sounds like, last we were chatting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Things are still going crazy. We're seeing some inventory coming on, so we're excited to see what's going to happen. Is it an early spring market, or is the COVID craziness going to keep going on? It's tough to say right now.
Awesome. And I know you've got a presentation for us, so I'm excited to jump into it in a second. But before we even do that, I just thought I'd highlight something for the audience, because I know that you've had a lot of outreach related to the Barrie market, as well as specifically garden suites for both Barrie and Orillia. And just wanted to remind the audience, if you guys are interested, Colby is getting a lot of demand for these. So just want to encourage you guys to reach out early and start that communication, and just really make sure that you're mapping out your expectations to reality, because you actually are starting to get a lot of demand for these, right? Investors are really seeing the potential.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, the phones were ringing off the hook last couple of months. First Barrie, now Orillia. We're getting a lot of traction in the Orillia market. The price points are a lot more advantageous than Barrie at this particular point. And with the increasing in inventory, we're definitely seeing some better deals to be had in the Orillia marketplace, which again is just about 20 minutes north of Barrie. So a stone's throw, it's almost a bedroom community for Barrie. So comparable rents and just cheaper prices.
Okay, awesome. Well, I know you've got the data for us, so I'm excited to jump into it. So tell us, what are we looking at for Barrie and Orillia for March?
All right, here's the market update. We've got a couple of quick slides of the stats, and then we'll go from there. So number of active listings in the Barrie area. You can see back when December, when we were in lockdown, we were almost at nil. That was when the prime time to sell was. We were seeing 20, 30 offers on everything. Townhouses were going for 600 grand. Duplexes were going for 850 for some nice ones. It was just anarchy here in Barrie. We're seeing the inventory grow substantially coming into the spring market. Seasonality wise, it's still a relatively low inventory compared to a standardized market. If you look at April 2020 compared to March 2021, even though we were still in the kind of COVID era back then, the amount of listings were quite substantial. So you can see on the right there, March 2021, that we're coming out of the lockdown. Birds are chirping, the sun's out, so we're starting to see a growth in inventory, which is really nice to see. We still are in competition on 90% of the offers. We're not seeing 20 offers. We're seeing 3 to 5. Maybe 10 in the Barrie area, depending on the price point. Obviously, the entry-level housing is substantial, really more crazy than a lot of the other stuff. But anything entry-level is just the way it is, and a lot of the stuff with the larger lots. So there's always investors flocking to this area. If you have a 60 by 150 foot lot, we're seeing some crazy premiums on that. There was one that we had one of the guys from one of the videos go and bid on. It was listed at $600,000. The lot was 75 by 200 in Barrie. Premium lot, premium area. It went for $925,000. We didn't even touch it. We went in at 800 grand and we didn't even touch it. Couldn't believe it. So there's a lot of people flocking around, seeing the value in these larger lots just due to the crazy incomes we can get for these detached suites with the duplex in the main building. People are gobbling them up real quick, and we're really starting to see some premiums in these larger lots. People they're not making the lots as big anymore, so there's a finite number of these types of lots, and they're almost like antiques. So we got to get our hands on as many as we can, as fast as we can.
Gotcha. Yeah, I really appreciate you sharing that.
Number of active listings in Orillia. Again, back in December, everyone was locked down. You've seen a steady decline all the way into the winter, lockdown after lockdown. Not a lot of houses coming on. December is usually a slow month anyways. But seeing that almost hit zero is a crazy number for any kind of inventory whatsoever. And again, coming up into the spring, nice weather is coming. A little bit of a slower growth than we've seen in the Barrie area, but you do have quite a bit of growth coming in the inventory side of things. But if you compare March 2021 to April 2020, it's almost 4 times the amount of listings. So inventory is still scarce, but it is growing. So growing inventory is good. Demand's still high. We're seeing a bit of less competition in the offer situations, but we were in competition last night on a house we just got for a client, 60-foot lot by 200 feet in depth. We got perfect for a detached suite, 1,100 square foot bungalow, gonna have crazy rents on it. There's only 3 offers and it still went $75,000 over list. So just because there's not as many offers, you still got to know your numbers, do your due diligence, and make sure you buy it within the right price bracket, because some agents are still pricing it undervalue, hoping to get the bidding war as well.
Yeah, really appreciate you sharing that.
Next slide I like to present is list price to sale price. So we can see, how much over things are going for. This is important when we're getting into bidding wars and things like that. So the list price is defined in green. You can see again, a year ago, things were going less than what they were listed for when the pandemic first hit. And as inventory dwindled, you can see in December where we had the lowest inventory, and January, things are going way over what the list price was. So we're hopefully going to see a bit of a correction in those bars in the next little while, a bit of a cooling. I don't see a huge price drop, but a cooling would be nice. Get some sanity back in our lives here in the real estate market. It's just been nuts. So that's kind of what's going on in the Barrie in respect to list and sale price. That's definitely really important when you're seeing things listed for sale on, different websites. You can't actually see what it's sold for, just what it listed for. Makes a big difference to make an educated decision when buying something.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's important to understand just where the psychology is of the average buyer and seller.
Absolutely. And then the chart for the Orillia area is quite similar. As again, December, things started to go crazy. Again, the lockdown, minimal inventory. You can see the sale price was really superseding the list price, and it's starting to inch back up to more of a balanced marketplace, hopefully. So in the near future, we should be able to, see a bit of a cooling in Orillia as well, get our hands on some more deals. But this could also be just seasonality with everyone wanting to list with the nice weather. But we still do have quite an exodus coming out of the city. So it's going to be really interesting to see what actually happens in the spring market, if it's actually cool it or not. I think it's really going to dictate around interest rates and how they're going to deal with inflation is kind of my thought. It's going to have to be government driven to cool this at this particular point.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one thing I just want to point out for anyone at home, obviously, as Colby was showing us on those previous slides, Orillia has a lot less sales volume and activity, right? So it's natural to expect to see this graph look a little bit choppier just because there's not as much data there. So it's not going to be a naturally smooth progression the way the other Barrie larger market is.
Oh, absolutely. That's pretty much the information that the charts I have for today for March. We're hoping to get some more detail on what's actually coming up value-wise, and see how much we can cool the offer situation. But I just want to tell everybody a little bit about what we do as well. We offer, in addition to our real estate acquisition services, we offer end-to-end project management. So not only you can acquire a property through us, we have a whole power team of individuals that you can tie into in the Simcoe County area. Taken lots of investment classes over my time, and that's always seems to be step one, is find your power team. So we've got that here built for you. and we'll go into a little bit about how we do things. So we can do garden suites or any kind of conversion that you want. Garden suites are the low-hanging fruit right now. They're all the rage. We can be as easy as saying, yes, Colby, I want that. We can do anything, though. We can do second suite conversions. We've done triplex conversions, multifamily conversions, which are like triplexes to sixplexes, duplexes to fiveplexes. We've done lot severances, infill developments, land assemblies for estate lot subdivisions, land assemblies for high-rise towers, land development just in general, and of course the newest, latest, greatest detached suites. We've got everything you need for a turnkey power team. We find the opportunities, me as a real estate agent. We've got designers that design everything, do all the certifications, all the permits, completely end-to-end, hands-off, turnkey. We've got contracting crews that specialize in different avenues. We apply for eco credits, HST tax credits, so many different avenues to help save you money. We've got appliance distributors, so you can buy appliances in bulk, save you money on the appliances for all your units. We've got end-to-end project management and property management, so we can get tenants in there for you and managed if you're not from the area. And we also have our paralegal service, which if the tenants get out of hand can help you out as well. We use a program called Builder Trend, where we actually give real-time updates on all our renovations. It goes right onto your phone, all the invoicing, floor plans, everything is branded right to your phone. We can even brand it to your JV partners. So if you're a JV type of person, you can hire us to do the work for you, and we can actually brand your branding to your JV's phone. So you look like a rock star, and we're doing a lot of the work for you as well. Some of the things to ask for before hiring a builder for a garden suite: make sure they're Terrion registered, make sure they're fully insured. The insurance program that we have costs us thousands of dollars a year. If the house burns down, somebody gets hurt, definitely do your due diligence on what's required for building these garden suites. And builder's risk insurance is one of the larger insurance policies that you have to pay for. So just make sure you do your due diligence when acquiring a builder for building your garden suites or something on the build side, which I think is very important. So.
Absolutely. So I'd love for you, Colby, if you could just break down for us. I think a lot of people hear this idea of garden suites and they get excited by it, but they don't necessarily understand, what is a practical timeline around it. So would you mind maybe just kind of breaking that down for us? What can they expect? Let's say they watch this, they get excited. They're like, yep, that garden suite stuff sounds cool. Colby, I want one. What's a realistic timeline like that look like?
Yeah, so the soft cost side of the garden suite is a bit more substantial than the second suite conversions that we were doing. The second suite conversion, we could probably get you a permit in 4 to 6 weeks. With the garden suite, we do have a couple extra steps. So we've got to go design our building first. So we'll get our designer to do our floor plan, depending on where you are. That'll take 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how busy she is. And then once we get our floor plan, we have to do some additional steps once that footprint's created. We have to have engineered truss designs and an engineered heat loss as well. So in addition to the floor plan, that'll take about 2 weeks. We've got another 2 weeks of getting the engineered stamp drawings for those. So getting our permit set ready usually takes about 30 days. And the city of Barrie, right now they're pretty slow. They're probably about 2 months for review time. So we're about 3 months to officially break ground on a detached suite. Once we break ground, we're about 4 to 5 months to build the project. And again, depending on the size and how many we have on the go as well, will kind of dictate that too. So.
Awesome. Yeah, really appreciate you breaking that down. So again, just to kind of manage people's expectations, if you decided that you wanted like one completed by the end of the year, you essentially need to get the ball rolling now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a couple of different timelines of tranches of houses that we're going to essentially build. So right now we've got the people that have been essentially started in December. We're getting permits in hands now. We're getting surveys of the lots done and the building envelope pinned by a surveyor to start digging. So we were hoping to have the first 5 that we've sold break ground here in the next probably 2 to 3 weeks. And then we've got another 5 coming up quickly behind there that we're hoping to start June, July. And then the next tranche will probably be September, get them all closed in before the winter comes and finish them off over the Christmas time, essentially, is what we're looking for. So.
Awesome. Yeah. Again, really appreciate you breaking down that timeline just because I want to make sure people go into this eyes wide open. This is a big project, but there are big opportunities behind these garden suites as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So have you guys officially started any projects or acquired any properties in Orillia with that eye towards garden suites?
Yeah, so we actually got one last night. It was 60-foot frontage by 200 square feet. So huge lot, double driveway on there, which is really exciting. So we've got 4 parking on one side and another 2 on the other, where we can actually do a drive aisle to the back and have additional parking in the back. So since this lot is so deep, we actually can do a detached suite in the backyard, and that detached suite will have a backyard in their backyard. So that's going to be a really cool project with the depth of that lot. We're going to be targeting more of those, just ease of access and things like that. But we picked that up for 626, and once we get everything going, the cash flow is going to be phenomenal on that. Pretty excited, and we've got a couple existing portfolios that we're looking at. Probably another 3 or 4 we're going to be taking on in the Orillia area. So pretty excited to get up there, test the waters there. It might be the first one on the docket. We'll see how that goes too. So we might have to do a little bit of trailblazing, but we did that in Barrie as well. So
yeah, I think that's really exciting and really looking forward to seeing what you bring to Orillia and how that kind of transforms the real estate market there. So obviously it's March right now. We're kind of going into the spring market, and Simcoe County turns out is a pretty big place. So, one of the markets that we were chatting about as well that you might look towards doing an update in the future is Wasaga Beach. Do you mind maybe just talking high level about that market and in general what investors maybe should be aware of if they're looking to break into the short-term vacation rental or even just Wasaga Beach in general?
yeah, so Wasaga Beach, one of the biggest freshwater beaches in the country. A couple good things going on there. They've got a new casino going in, so it's a 30,000 square foot casino that they're going to be building in the next year or two. So going to have a lot of card dealers and stuff like that in that area. Some of the things, we've done a couple duplex conversions up there, and more so for people that want to have a space for themselves on the main floor and then have a short-term rental in the basement, like Airbnb, or a long-term rental just to subsidize being in that area. Right next to Wasaga Beach is also Collingwood, Blue Mountain, that entire area. So Wasaga Beach is always a little bit cheaper than Collingwood. It's a bit more of a drive to get from point A to point B. The good thing about Wasaga Beach too is they have some different zonings. They have commercial tourism zoning areas where you can still pick up cottages with a couple, like a piece of land with a couple cottages on it. So there's a couple that I was looking at there the other day. They had 4 or 5 cottages, and they're selling the whole piece of land for $500,000 or $600,000. So if somebody wanted to kind of get into that short-term rental market, the Airbnb, we could definitely look into some of those projects for them, especially with COVID and everything. There's a couple of those coming up and some opportunities there. So there could be, if somebody's into that kind of demographic, in the winter, you've got Blue Mountain 15, 20 minutes away, so you could kind of Airbnb it out. They are pretty strict on their legislation and where and how you can do the rentals there. Mm-hmm. So you got to have your ducks in a row, know what's going on there. But with the sunny weather finally coming out, it's definitely something we're keeping an eye on, because I know there's a lot of people hurting in those kind of communities with the COVID going on. So there might be some deals to snap up there in that regard.
Yeah, and I think it's more important than ever, if you are actively looking in this market, you need to be very proactively looking, right? If a deal does come up, if an interesting opportunity hits the market, it doesn't last there long, but there can be interesting opportunities for those of us that are prepared and ready to move fast.
Absolutely, for sure.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the show again, Colby, just breaking down for us exactly what's going on in Barrie, Orillia, and everything Simcoe County, as well as, I'm looking forward to maybe learning a little bit more about Wasaga in the near future and just kind of, the different opportunities for investors there. As always, there's a link in the video description down below, guys, if you want to reach out to Colby or anyone on his team, if you want to learn more about Barrie, Orillia, any of the things we discussed today, or in particular, garden suites seems to be very popular with my audience reaching out to you. So again, want to encourage you guys. And if you're thinking about this, start the conversation sooner, just because like Colby laid out for us, these are longer timeline projects, right? This isn't a lipstick flip or a lipstick burr. There's actually some big moving parts to building a garden suite. But again, there are huge opportunities if you're willing to take on that sort of project.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Matt, for sure.
Awesome. Well, again, appreciate Colby, and we'll see you next month.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks again to Colby for taking the time to shoot this video. If you guys enjoyed it, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're new to my channel, and let me know in the comment section, what are your thoughts on the Barrie market? And do you want to see us jump into Wasaga Beach and other areas of Simcoe County when Colby's given us his updates? Let us know in the comment section. I'll see you in the next video.